Hey there, back at you from Raleigh City Farm. We had a big storm that rolled through last night and early this morning, a lot of wind and rain, and I was kind of nervous showing up today to see where things were at, but things look great. I was worried about the beds. We just set them up on Saturday, and you know, they're super fluffy right now. They don't have anything growing in them, there's no roots, but they handled the rain fine. It seems to be doing okay. High Tunnel's happy. So we got a couple people here today. We got our interns, and we also got Dave and Gene, and try to crank out some work and get this field growing as quickly as possible and stick to our schedule. So what we're gonna do today is we gotta get at least a simple irrigation setup for this block. So we're gonna set up the wobblers, same system as I've used at my farm, and we're gonna hook up a timer over to the rainwater spigot over here, and we're gonna transplant a couple beds and direct seed a couple beds. So that's what's in store for today. Let's get it done. Well, now that we got the rainwater system all going and feeling confident about that with the pump and everything, I'm actually gonna switch over the greenhouse water. It was hooked up here to this is city water here, this hydrant, and I'm gonna put it over to this hydrant here, which is connected to the rainwater system. So that's one thing I wanna do today. We can save a few fittings and also just start utilizing the equipment that we have here. I'm using all this 3/4 inch irrigation line. I buy it at Lowe's. It's 100 feet, it's like 20 something bucks, and just great for running water all over the place. And I use these quick fittings, and this one's a coupler, so I can just tie two pieces together. So I'm just gonna cut a little piece and extend it over to there. Well, I got hooked up to the rainwater system, and this hydrant over here has got 2 leaks on it, of course, because it's been sitting for a while, so I hooked it back up to the city water. Project for another day. The wind is just atrocious out here today. I'm trying to get this video done. Anyways, we got the wobbler set up in this field block, and this is the same irrigation setup that I've been using for everywhere else. So we got wobblers, PVC risers, quick connect fittings at the bottom, and we're using that 3/4 inch irrigation line, and this runs down here and over this way to where we're going to be putting the timer, which is right next to the water hydrant that connects to our rainwater system. Let me show you what's going on over here. We don't have anything set up yet, but I'll just show you the area. All right, well, this is kind of a mess over here, but this is the hydrant for the rainwater system. We got our city water hydrant, which we're going to swap out because it's leaking, but we're going to put that set up right here. We're going to put our couple timers here and a little filter, and we're going to build a little house for it, so keep it out of the rain and probably out of the sun. So that's gonna go right here. It's really dead central for our field production, and that way we can run lines all off of here to all the different field blocks. All right, so let's just turn this on for a second to just test it out and make sure it's looking cool. Go ahead, Dave. Well, it is crazy windy out here, so it's obviously hard to tell the coverage, but so far so good. We'll do our transplanting and seeding today, and then make sure that it's hitting all the right spots. But I have this on with the smallest nozzle, which is the gold, and I can go up from there. So if we need more flow and to throw the water further, we can do that. But this is gonna work great. I mean, I don't know why this wouldn't work. We just have to make sure we get everything dialed in. In terms of spacing, they're equally spaced, so it's a 50-foot bed, 12.5 in, 25 between them, and then 12.5 to the other side. All right, so we got Dave and Gene working on the irrigation setup, building that little structure for the timers, and the interns today, we got Tessie and Kate, and I'll give a longer interview probably when it's not so windy out here today, but I'm working on bed prep today. We're gonna do some transplanting and some direct seeding. We got our first 2 beds prepped. We used the tilther and the rake like usual, and we're starting to transplant green onions. So we got Tessie and Kate back here, planting out our first beds at Raleigh City Farm out in the field. It's like immediate gratification with the transplants. It looks awesome. So green onions, we're also gonna do lettuce today. Well, just cruising today. Onions are in. I'm gonna start working on the lettuce now. Well, starting to feel a little bit rushed there because we were trying to get those transplants out, and it's so windy today that the soil just dried out almost immediately. So I was making sure that we were trying to get the water down as quickly as possible. So we direct seeded 2 beds of carrots, as well as transplanting the green onions and the lettuce, and we turned the sprinklers on to not just test them and make sure they're covering well, but to really, we had to get the ground wet as soon as possible, and it's just way too windy, so we just had to hand water the beds, which is okay. We're not going to do that on a regular basis, but for today we just got to make sure we're getting them wet. But overall, 4 beds planted today, that's great. We'll plant the rest out, or at least most of them out later in the week. Well, lovely surprise, I got a new hat. Thank you, Misha. I really appreciate it. This is super cool. Look guys, I don't have a hat with holes in it. It was such an awesome gift. Thank you so much guys. I really appreciate it, Misha. Thanks for all the support. And I just actually did forget my hat at home today and it's super windy. This one is fitting nicely. How does it look guys? Better than the old one? All right, so Gene's been cranking away at this all day while I've been doing some training with the interns, but we got a nice burley stand here and we got our water set up so it comes to a simple sediment filter, and this will reduce any little bits of sediment that might get clogged in here, and what that happens, it will keep the valves from closing in the timer, so it's important to do that. And this is repurposed from another project. And then we have a simple timer here, and maybe I'll get into more of this another time after we start hooking up more stuff, and this runs out to our first block out here. So Gene, amazing job. Virtual high 10. I'm starting to get more comfortable with being the farm manager here and just overall being on this farm. I'm starting to really enjoy being on the land here, trying to understand it a little bit better. It does take some time, getting used to working with the people here, which everyone's been really cool, and just starting to get our field set up is just feeling really special. And you know, we've done so much so far. Well, as I usually say, another epic day at Raleigh City Farm, and today was no exception, and we got so much done, and I'm happy to share it with you guys. Hope everyone out there is doing well, staying safe, being healthy. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and hit the bell, and we'll see you tomorrow. And I am going to set that up to and over to our water system over here. So over here, we're gonna be setting up, this does not work. Here we go, hopefully we can roll with that. Nope. And then this is running over to This is a nightmare to shoot today. But Gene, amazing dude. Virtual high 10.